In this video, we will learn the character designing process in Adobe Illustrator so that we can later on rig and animate it in After Effects. And you don't need a graphics tablet to follow along with this lesson. So this is the lesson 1 of the explainer animation course. By the end of this course, we will create this entire animation project in step-by-step process. But before moving forward, hit the like button of this video and comment down below because your likes and comments really motivates me to make more free courses and tutorials like this. So without any further delay, let's dive right into the designing process. So my initial inspiration for the character was Granny from Courage and the Cowardly Dog with the similar kind of proportion and the overall complexion. So when you were designing a character which you were later on planning to rig and animate it in After Effects, there are a few things that you need to consider. The first one is your character's range of motion. Like, do you want to animate the full body of the character in front view doing a single action, or should it have a lot of range of movement with multiple actions? Or you just want to animate the top half of the character, or you just want to be able to rig and animate the face of the character in different direction. Number 2 is limb joint style. So do you want a rigid and pointy elbow or a rubber hose style elbow? And number 3 is, do you want your character to have outline or not? So knowing these factors will help you in planning out the character designing process, like how much effort you need to put in the designing process. In my case, I want a character in front view and I should be able to animate the top half of the character with some hand and body movement. And I also should be able to rig and animate the face in 2.5D in all the directions. So now that I have the details I need, let's jump into Adobe Illustrator. So right now my first goal is to get the proportion of the character correct. In this stage, I'm not thinking about the colors. I'm just going to use shapes with white fill and black strokes. So for that, I have created a rectangle with the rectangle tool. And now let's press E to open the free transform tool. And I'm going to use the second one, perspective distort. And just distort the top half of the rectangle. And I can even use this anchor point tool and bring the bezier handle from these edges. At the same time, I can also add a little curvature on the edges. And now let's round up these two corners. So with this, I got a nice oval shaped head. Okay, now let's design the body. Again, let's create a rectangle and let's modify the shape first with the free transform tool and then with the anchor point tool. And one more thing, while designing, make sure the smart guide is on. You can see this purple line over here. It helps in properly centering or aligning bezier handles or anchor points here in Illustrator. So if it's turned off, then just go to view and turn this on. And also let's add another rectangle and let's design the lower half of the body. And since I just want the top half to be seen and animated, so I don't have to animate the whole of the lower half. Just till the hip portion is going to be visible. And now we can merge these two shapes either from the Pathfinder here or using the Shape Builder tool. So this is the Shape Builder tool. The shortcut key is Shift+M. Using it, you can subtract some portion of the shape or you can merge shapes. So right now we are just going to merge shapes. And now let's round these two corners. And also let's round up this two shoulder area as well. So when you are planning to rig your character in After Effects, one important thing that you need to keep in mind that wherever there is a joint in your character like the shoulder joint or limb joints, you have to make sure the joints have a rounded overlap. For the shoulder, like the design we are planning to create over here, it's very difficult to have complete round overlap here in the shoulders, but still try to make the overlaps as round as possible. Okay, now let's select both these two shapes and use the align panel to properly align it in the center. Okay, now we're going to add a rectangle for the neck. Again, select all the shapes together and align it with the center. And let's move the neck behind all the layers. So go to arrange, send it behind. Okay, now let's move on with designing the hand. For that, I'm going to create the rectangle and let's start with designing the arm. Again, the similar process, we can use the free transform tool to distort it in perspective a little bit, and then the anchor point tool to add a little curvature on the sides of the shape. And let's round up the corner and place it exactly at the position of the shoulder. Let's duplicate this layer one more time and let's use this shape layer for the forearm. Of course, we're also going to distort the shape, and for the forearm, it's this side is not going to be this wide. Okay, after rounding up the corner, we got a nice round overlap for the joints here in the shoulder portion, also from arm to the forearm. Now we're going to use this shape for the other side of the hand as well. So for that, let's select this and just duplicate the shape. So for that, press and hold the Alt key and drag it. So now we have to flip it. So right click and then transform, then reflect vertically and press OK. Now place it here in the shoulder area. Okay, now let's design the hair of this character. So I want a curly hairstyle for this character. So I'm just going to use the ellipse tool and create circle and just duplicate the shape multiple times. But for the hair, I'm just going to keep the fill, that is complete black. And let's remove the stroke. So I'm just creating a circle and resizing it and just reusing the shape. That's it. Okay, now I also want to add a chef hat. So let's start with creating a rectangle. And with this, the basic structure of the character is ready. Okay, now let's move on with the color selection process. So this is the color palette that I have selected for our illustration. And if you find difficulty in finding the perfect color palette for your illustration, then I would highly recommend you to go through Adobe Color. They have a huge collection of color palettes. Now, let's start with picking the color. So let's start with the face. Let's pick this one. For the neck, let's pick a darker shade. For the hand, body, I'm just going to pick this yellow color, and then for the hair, I'm going to pick this dark color, and then for the hat, I'm just going to select this sky blue color. Okay, now we're going to add further details. So let's select the body layer, double click on it to get inside the isolation mode. And here we're going to add a neck for the t-shirt. So for that, we can use the ellipse tool. So let's duplicate this ellipse shape one more time and scale it down. And for this one, let's pick this white color. Now I'm going to duplicate this body layer one more time. So Ctrl C and Ctrl Shift V to paste it in the same place. And select this ellipse shapes. And then activate the shape builder tool. So Shift plus M is the shortcut key, and we're going to remove this area of the shapes. So press and hold the Alt key and drag it in this area. And now I'm going to select this inner shape of the body and pick the skin color. So I'm going to use the eyedropper tool. The shortcut key is I. Okay, now let's select all the shape together and group it so that we can select it properly. And now we are going to add more extra detail to this body layer. For that, again, we are going to use the pen tool and let's draw a shape of the apron on the body. Okay, now let's pick the sky blue color for the apron and select the body layer with the apron and activate the shape builder tool. And let's remove this extra area of the shapes. So press and hold the Alt key and click on it or click and drag. And now we can add few more detailing on the body, like We can add a pocket over here and few shades with the line in this area using the rectangle tool and the pen tool. And now we can add more detailing to the face layer. So let's start with adding the eyes with the eyebrow and the glasses. Now we can further add more details like start adding some shades of the head. So for that we can duplicate this head shape layer one more time and slightly shift it and pick some different color of the skin tone and just move it behind the head layer and use the shape builder tool to remove the extra portion of the shape. We can even add some shades on the face as well. So like this, I'm going to keep adding more details to the illustration by adding more shades to the illustration, mostly using the pen tool. And generally, I don't settle down with the first iteration. If I feel like some proportion is off, I immediately rectify it. And I go through multiple iterations before coming to the final design. So here you can see the color combination is a bit different from the final illustration. That's because initially the colors that I had selected were not creating that vibe that I wanted to create with this animation. So I have done some experiment with different color palettes and this is the final illustration I ended up with. And following the similar process, I have designed the other frames of this explainer video. Okay, now let's see how to separate the layers of your illustration so that you can prepare your character design for rigging and animating it in After Effects. So here we have the final design of our character and here is the layer panel. Now we're going to start separating the illustration elements from the element that is near the camera. For example, the table and the plate is near the camera compared to, let's say, the frying pan or the hand or the body of the character. So let's select this two layers, cut it, Control X to cut and paste it. Let's add a layer over here and paste it. Now again, let's select the table and the plate and cut it and paste it on top of the fire layer. And let's start renaming the layers. So let's start with this one. Let's name it table. This one fire. Let's select the frying pan, cut it and paste it over here. Let's name it frying pan. So like this, I'm going to keep going and separate each and every elements of the design, the parts that I want to move in After Effects in a separate layer. For the character, it can be arm, forearm, then the body, and for the head portion, it can be all the facial elements like eyes, eyebrows, lips, even the shadows, glasses, even each and every element of the hair. And with this, I have all the layers of each and every element of the illustration separated in the layer panel and properly named the elements that I want in a separate layer in After Effects. So this is how I design animation friendly characters in Adobe Illustrator so that I can later on rig and animate it in After Effects. So that is it for this video, and in the next lesson we will learn how to animate hands like this in After Effects. And you can get all the assets, illustrations and the files that we're going to use throughout this course from our website, link in the description and also in the pinned comment section. And also do like this video and do let me know in the comment section if something that I have missed in this video that you want me to cover in the future videos. And if you have any suggestion, do let me know in the comment section. And uh, if you want me to cover any other topics in After Effects, you can again give me some suggestion on that. So that is it. I will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.